Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Let's thank our members, Overleaning 11B and Cots. Thank you for being the full crew members, it helps a lot. Thank you all the Foxpad members and the Fishpad members. Make sure to subscribe and join our Discord. We are growing a very cool community there. Yesterday we were talking a little bit about the MiG-29 and the F-16, so yeah, a lot of people are just, talking a lot about a lot of things there, so just make sure to go there. If you have any questions, I can answer them more, like, in a faster way there as well, so the link is always in the description, okay? If you have problems with it, just try to wait a little bit and try again. For some reason, sometimes the link just doesn't work, and then it goes back working, so I don't know. But yeah, we are going to rate a little bit. I don't want to give an actual rating, like 10 out of 10 stars, 5 out of 10, 5 stars, I don't know, something like that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about if this was a good patch or not. I see a lot of people in YouTube and Reddit and in the forum, everywhere basically, people basically talking bad about this patch, and to be honest, I don't think it was a bad patch. I don't think it was perfect, but it needs some things were to be better if it was changed a little bit, but still it is a patch that added some stuff that were needed. I know the drones, I mean, a lot of people have a lot of complaints about it, but right now, once they actually move the respawn points a little bit upwards, I think it's fine, to be honest, and it's a good addition for people that they don't have any aircraft and stuff like that. And to be honest, just for realism's sake, I prefer to see a drone firing Hellfires. It's just two Hellfire, so yeah, it's not that big of a deal anyway. Then a P-47 just flying around dropping 1,000-pound bombs in my T-90. So yeah, just for that and for helping people that don't have high tier aircraft, I think it was a very okay addition, a good idea actually from them. The other things, obviously we didn't have any major feature changes or anything like that, especially in the air department. The only thing that I can say is that the missiles are buffed and changed a bit. So that just, it really helped a little bit on that manner, that the missiles are a little bit more effective now and they're just a little bit more reliable than they were before. Before it was too much, Chef was very strong and notching was very, very strong and targets could just go cold, and yeah, there are some better missiles at that and worse missiles than that. So for example, I think the R-24, for example, is better than the AIM-7F dealing with cold targets, for example, because of its seeker. But still, it's very, very good, the addition of that. It's not something like major, but it really helps to be a little bit more fun to fly in top tier meta right now. And of course, we have to talk about the vehicles, because normally the patch, the main thing about the patch is always the vehicles, obviously. And I think it was a very honest patch. I think the main addition that we can see here that helps the game, I think it was the Mirage 2000. Obviously, I think France was suffering from not having a properly good top tier aircraft for a long time, and it was not even due to guiding. It was just due to they not having an aircraft that was good in that time. Or not good, but the Mirage F1 is good, but it's not comparable to an F14, for example, and stuff like that. And even though the Mirage 2000C is a very modern aircraft, I think it's just the beginning of basically a long list of 4th generation aircraft that will be coming in the next patches. So it just kind of gives you a glimpse on what a MiG-29, an F-16, F-15 aircraft like that will be, in the radar department and the power and turning capabilities and stuff like that. It's an aircraft that obviously it's a little bit limited still. As you can see, I mean, it's still competitive, even though it is basically a 4th gen aircraft that it's fighting most of the time 3rd generation aircraft. But it's an aircraft that was needed, and it just needed to be added. It needed to be added. So yeah, I think it was a very, very good addition. The other ones, I mean, the Harrier GR7, I think it's a great addition. It's basically it might not be the main thing that the UK needs. Maybe I still think that Tornado um, could be a better aircraft to be added. You know, but still the Harrier GR7 is amazing aircraft, amazing dogfighter, and it kind of took me by surprise on how good it is. I thought it was before the patch and before learning about it to do the video on the diving down series and stuff like that. I and that was a freeze for the game. No idea what happened there, but yeah. But I thought the Harrier 2 was kind of similar to the Harrier 1 and not too crazy. And it is a very, very good addition. I think it's a very, very good aircraft. And yeah, the missiles, everything. It kind of is what the UK needs, you know. I still think, as I said, that the Tornado is more needed than that. But still, it's an aircraft that it was needed, you know. We needed a dogfighter in that tech tree. It's a very good addition. Other aircraft, obviously, we have one of the main aircraft. We have the Su-25, which I don't think it's like necessary, but that's the thing. A lot of people mistake guiding because they think that they are going to only add stuff that are needed to the game, or even um, they think that uh, it should be like that, you know. If we had only things that are needed in the game, we would be on the Korean War still, until this day, because back in the early days, you know, in the start of the Korean War and stuff like that, when the MiG-15 was the top of the line on the Soviet 3, for example, and stuff like that. Basically, I mean, we didn't have anything else, and it was kind of balanced, and it was fine, you know. So yeah, I mean, you understand my point? Like, we don't need things. We want things, you know. Sometimes we need things for balancing purposes, but that's not what these aircraft are, you know, the Su-25. I must say that, obviously, even though I'm saying this, we have some problems with BR compression as always, you know. Um, the Su-25 kind of made it so that it's a little bit more clear that the BR compression is a thing and it's a very serious thing. Because normally I'm researching, for example, the Sagittario now, I'm playing with it, and yeah, it's not easy to fight with a 9.0, an aircraft that has R60Ms, you know, or even the AIM-9Ls for that matter, with the with the A10s as well. So it's, you know, it's complicated. So if there is one thing that we can take out of this patch as a bad thing, I would say that it compressed it a little bit more in certain areas, you know. But yeah, it's a long time problem, you know, and it's not that it has a very easy fix, you know. It's just it's complicated, you know. So overall, I think it was a very positive patch in a sense, in a general sense, that it filled some holes that it needed to fill, like the Mirage, like even the MiG-23BN. A lot of people don't realize that, but Germany didn't have any good CAS at beyond like 8.0. So, I mean, they had the MiGs and stuff like that, but that's not a CAS aircraft. So the 23BN kinda, it's a very good aircraft for that role, you know, of having a higher, kind of a higher BR attacker aircraft on Germany, on the German tech tree, you know. So there's many holes that were filled, I think, and it's a very good thing about that, you know. There's some helicopters that were added. We had the Chinese helicopters, which is a great addition as well, I think. And of course, yeah, I understand we need the French Navy. We need, yeah, we need a lot of things. We want a lot of things. But yeah, calm down too, right? I mean, the patch was great, you know, and I think it's just preparing the field, to be honest, for a much bigger patch than it will come. That it will come in the anniversary, you know. As you know, we have the 10th anniversary of War Thunder this year in November, and yeah, it's going to be probably one of the biggest patches ever. Maybe I have a feeling about it, about the way that they are dealing with it in the forums and with some community managers and stuff like that. They don't review anything, obviously, but they say like it's going to be a big patch, you know. So it's like a preparation. Not all patches will be larger, the largest one ever, you know. But that's the thing, you know. A lot of people have biases, and a lot of people like to have their own things, you know. It's, for example, we don't need another MiG-23, for example, right now, you know. The MLD is fine and stuff like that on the Soviet 3. I am a big 23 fan. If we received another MiG-23, I would be happy. I would say that it's the best patch ever, you know. And that's just having an example of how biases work, you know. Because for the French, it was basically the best patch in like 3 years, you know, because of the Mirage 2000. But for some tankers, for example, it was kind of another T-80 UK. All right, another light tank for China. Nothing too much, you know. Where's my M1A2 SEP V3? And I understand that, but the thing is, most of them come from only playing one nation. So I understand that you like one nation and stuff like that, but if you are having a negative line of thinking about this patch, it might be because you only play that one nation, you know, normally. I understand there's problems with the game, and it needs to be changed in some areas, and we need bigger maps, in my opinion. For example, we need better RWRs, and we need better maps, and yeah, whatever, you know, there's many things that needs to be changed. But normally I see a lot of people complaining about stuff because they only play with one nation. So I see a lot of people, for example, complaining about how Japan is not getting a new aircraft. So like, yeah, there's no aircraft for them to get. So they're not going to get a new aircraft for a very long time, to be honest. I would be very surprised if you get an F-15J in the next patch, for example. So yeah, and that's people that are just, they normally tend to talk in a way that you know that they are only playing that nation, because there are many aircraft in the game that are fun, and it's a very fun patch to fly, you know, in many aircraft. But because they don't get a new aircraft for their nation, they get mad with the patch, you know, or a vehicle for that nation, you know. So do like I did when I wasn't a content creator. I started with a nation that was similar to what I had it already. So for example, I had it a little bit of Germany and USA, but my main nation was the Soviet Tech 3, you know, in the Air Force. And what did I do? I researched the Chinese tree when it came out, you know. After that, I was like, I want the French Tech tree. I got the French Tech tree, and so on and so on. And slowly, I eventually got everything, and that made me a better player, because I have to learn how the enemy is playing the aircraft that you normally are flying against. And that just makes sense, you know. It just does make sense. So most of the biases and the most of complaints are normally due to that. So if you are, I mean, like that, I mean, just have an open mind, you know, about that. I'm not complaining about you. Obviously, I'm not. Everybody plays on the way that they want, and I understand why people like to play with one nation. I was like that with the Soviet Union. But just have at it, you know. Play a little bit of other nations. You will see that you will have a lot of fun, because each nation has its own unique vehicles. I know there's a lot of copy pastes in the game, but it is each nation has its own unique vehicles in general, you know. So yeah. But basically this is it, Kai. This was the idea of the video. Just talk a little bit about the patch and my ideas behind it. I think it was a good patch. It was not the most amazing patch ever, but it was a very good one. I think it is preparing the ground for us to get a lot of cool things. So be prepared, and yeah, I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, and see ya.